I'm Gabriel Kpaka, the Deputy Director General Head of Operations for the Leone Meteorological Agency.
Okay, so tell us what your agency does.
Of course, the Leone Meteorological Agency is an offshoot of the British Meteorological Services, established way back in 1827. And of course, we became a department in 1961 when the country gained independence. And then thereafter, in 2017, we were transformed into an agency with added responsibility. And basically, the function of meteorological agency in single line is basically we are responsible for weather, climate, and climate change related activities. And it is a scientific institution wherein we use, of course, our instruments that we call weather stations, and then we try to process data that has been collected by this weather station in order to give information or data to end users at its deemed fit.
Okay, so how is your work important to people like farmers, traders, and other sectors, other walks of life?
Okay, unpacking, I think within the meteorological agency, we have departments. And these departments, they are basically created in order to provide specialized, tailor-made information or say forecast to particular sector. Let's start with, for example, the aviation sector. The aviation industry, has to do with, of course, flights and, of course, landing or passing through our aerospace. For Australia Meteorological Agency, we have staff that are stationed at our international airports. Even prior to us having just one airport, we used to have many airports, and we used to have our staffs there. So currently for Lincoln International Airport, we have staff that provide, of course, customized information to pilots. And these informations are encoded format in which only the meteorologists and then the pilots will understand. And the basis about the information is like for the pilots to land and then to take off, of course, safely, and also provide information to en route flight. That is like the other flights that will not land in Sierra Leone, but they pass through our aerospace, so they need our information. And also another one is like for the agricultural sector, is for the farmers. So for the farmers, we have another department that we call the agro-meteorological department, where we provide information to set of farmers. We have farmers that just need our weather forecast. That is, we give weather forecast to them, and then that will help them to determine the way they do their farming activities. Why there are other farmers like mechanized farmers or commercial farmers, normally they just demand for us data. And those that are being collected for the farming sector is quite very different. In fact, for the Met Agency, before the start of every season, we've been engaging with some selected farmers, because it's not like it's just a pilot, and then telling them what they expect for the season. And then as the time goes by, we're giving them information. So of course, if we want to get like a robust harvest within the country, and they'll be talking about climate smart agriculture, the nucleus of climate smart agriculture is the Met service, because we provide the scientific information to farmers to know when to plant and then when to harvest. Also others to the marine sector, which happens to be the marine meteorological department. It's a department in an agency. Now we've just installed about 5 weather stations, where in those stations they give information to people that use the oceans or the rivers. That is like be using it for transportation or using it for a livelihood, where you give them customized information to know when we're having bad weather and then when there's a calm weather, so that they will know when to go to see to do their activities, at least to reduce loss of lives and property. And then finally, we have the one that has to do with the they call it the hydrometeorology, where we give the forecast to the public. And that is the forecast that we give to people every day. Just like yesterday, we said it's not going to rain, and today is a very fine day.
How do you popularize your work?
We have one that we use basically wherein we send our information to Facebook page, so that people can just look at Facebook and see what is happening. And then we have others wherein, of course, people can use our website to know the work and function of the Met Agency, publication that we have done, research and other things. And also we have dedicated WhatsApp groups. I can tell you we have WhatsApp group for ministers, we have WhatsApp group for directors, we have WhatsApp group for the public, for the Met Agency and other people wherein we send this information to them, and then for them also to ask some questions. And just quite recently, there is a particular system that we are trying to develop with the help of the US, wherein there'll be a platform where we'll be pushing out warning directly to awareness, because when it comes to disaster management, it has to be with the Met Agency and then with the Office of National Security, the Disaster Management Department directly.
Okay, so the weather language is somehow difficult to understand. How do you do it for people to understand? Like when you're giving a forecast, people should understand what you mean. How do you go about doing it?
In fact, I must confess that, for example, even the name meteorology itself sounds like a disease, and it's quite strange to people.
Yeah.
It's not a household name. So normally, like what we do basically, because of the scientific nature of the content of the forecast, and we cannot try to reinterpret scientific nature in order to lose the value of the content of the forecast. So what we are doing is basically for us to reach out to people is like intensive public education. Because when we do intensive public education, even the people, the layperson who understand what is happening. We have started in strata where in the first one that we've done is like engaging the journalists.
Okay.
Because when you engage journalists, the first point of contact for you to send out the information to reach the general public happens to be the journalist. So we've trained the journalists to understand what is the content of the forecast, and also we'll be engaging in different platforms. Just like now you're taking an interview, we can use most of these platforms to educate people.